When you see someone like this, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel uncomfortable? Feel pity? You might choose to avoid taking a second glance or try to put it out of your mind altogether. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Not look? Pretend nothing's wrong? Are you supposed to give that individual special attention? What are you supposed to do? Each person's life and experiences are very different. This is Allie. She's unable to tell her own story. And although we could never articulate her experiences from her perspective, as a people who love her most, we want to make sure her story is told, and that the contagious joy that permeates our lives because of her infects the lives of everyone who hears her story.
Allie is our adopted daughter. Biologically, she's our granddaughter. And Allie is a victim of shaken baby syndrome. She is a quadriplegic with cerebral palsy. She's non-ambulatory, which means she doesn't walk, she can't feed herself, she can't roll over. And she's the center of our universe.
So when I was a little over 18 years old, I started exploring a world of guys, girls, alcohol, just all sorts of things. And growing up as a missionary pastor's kid, I had very little experience, and I was a bit naive, and I wound up pregnant.
And my daughter was 18 at the time. That was hard news for us to process, but I think that we came around it pretty quickly and just embraced the fact that we were going to be grandparents.
We were happy that she was going to have a baby, and it was a pleasure when Allie was born.
And 4 days after my 19th birthday, I had Allie, who I named Allie Rae.
You know, Allie was perfectly healthy. You know, I used to feed her bottle, change her diapers, just interact with her like I interacted with my son or daughter when they were little.
And my daughter worked and went to school, so I pretty much took care of her, unless Charity went out with her friends and took Allie with her.
I didn't really see eye to eye with my parents at the time, so I decided to move to San Francisco and co-parent with her father.
When Charity first told me she was moving to San Francisco, it broke my heart.
So I moved out to San Francisco, everything was great, it was super fun, it was exciting, there was all this art and culture. I could kind of do what I wanted out there. So I got a job practicing massage therapy. Her father was at home with her during the day, and one day I got a call from him saying that she was choking or whatnot.
We got a call from Charity. She just said, "Oh my God, you gotta pray. Allie's in an ambulance, she's on the way to the hospital, and she's not breathing."
We had no idea what was going on. We just knew that Allie was hurt.
Rushed to the hospital as quick as I could. When I got there, the doctors were interviewing him, asking him what happened.
Charity called probably an hour later, being at the hospital, and Allie's daddy had confessed to doctors that he shook Allie and squeezed her until she stopped breathing.
Charity said, come get the baby. So we didn't know how bad it was. She was in total shock. She had no clue how bad it was.
I got the earliest flight out from Fort Lauderdale to San Francisco, the earliest flight I could get. I walked into the hospital room and Allie was bundled up from head to toe basically in gauze and bandages and all kinds of beeping apparatus and heat lamps on her, and it was an overwhelming arrival. And the neurologist said that she has moderate to severe brain damage, and my daughter was a basket case. I mean, she was just in shock.
Basically, they prepared me for the worst. They started preparing me for kind of a pull the plug situation. I was completely devastated. I was under investigation from CPS. Being 19 years old at the time, I sort of just completely lost it.
The dad was in jail and would be facing charges. And we decided that Susan and I would work toward becoming Allie's caretakers. Well, Child Protective Services were not very on board with that idea. And she flat said to me, you know, as far as we know, Allie could be going from the frying pan into the fire. You have to prove yourself to us. You know, it became my wife's mission to become Allie's mother and do whatever it takes.
The caseworkers came and told me that, one, they were not my friend, and they wanted to place Allie in the best place possible.
Allie started to respond to Susan being there. One of her eyes started to open, and she started to slowly emerge from the coma.
I had lived with her in the hospital for 6 weeks. I took care of her, helped the nurses bathe her, held her because she couldn't put her down, couldn't lay her down because of the brain damage. She cried constantly. Susie
became very hands-on to the point that doctors and nurses became our champions of our cause for becoming Allie's parents.
The doctors agreed with Allie's caseworker that I was the best option. They let her be with family so she could be in a loving home. We decided we wanted Allie. We were going to adopt her and take care of her no matter what the circumstances or the medical condition was.
Before this event happened, Allie was beginning to walk, but now she was basically paralyzed.
The first year of living and taking care of Allie was hell.
Allie had to be held 24/7 just because of her mental state. She was very disoriented and in a lot of pain. She couldn't do anything that a normal 10-month-old would do to self-soothe. Allie cried from the time that she got up in the morning till the time she fell asleep at night. Probably the most unnerving experience my wife and I have gone through. We'd have to bounce her on a sports ball for 45 minutes just to get her to sleep. And then if any little noise woke her up, it was another 45 minutes to get her to sleep. At first she had a feeding tube. She was on like 8 or 9 different medications at different times. Very difficult. It taxed every part of our relationship. And quite frankly, we were so on edge in that time that we had a hard time talking civilly to each other. We lost our house in Florida because we couldn't afford rent and a house. I left my son Aaron all by himself. I kind of abandoned him. I feel like I lost my daughter at the time. So you pretty much lost everything because all of our emotions and efforts, our time, everything had to go to Allie.
All the things that happened to Allie and my family sent us all, I think, on individual paths. It had a massive impact on us. On my part, I just disappeared into a world of constantly traveling, drinking every day, smoking a lot of weed. I just felt that nothing was ever going to be good again.
My daughter was suicidal. I had to get on the phone with an infant crying in the other room and my daughter crying on the phone, just saying, I cannot do this.
You know, I did have a lot of unresolved guilt for what happened to Allie. I had a lot of guilt, you know, like I should have known, I should have been there that night, I shouldn't have taken that extra shift, I should have seen the signs. I should have been able to see this in him. I had never known abuse myself. I wasn't raised in a house with abuse. I didn't know that he was secretly drinking in the middle of the day. I just had no idea. And this like gnawing guilt was something that was always kind of on my back. So it was just about surviving each and every day.
And then we were also blaming this person that did this and working with the district attorney's office to help him build a case. Our minds emotionally were in this place of hatred and injustice, and we learned that we could not mentally think through the idea of pursuing justice against the person that did this and care for Allie and maintain our marriage and care for my traumatized daughter. We couldn't do all of those things, and so we just had to pick. And the thing that we picked was that we were going to focus only on caring for Allie, and my mission became to support my wife while she took care of Allie, and my wife's mission became to support me while I took care of Allie, and everything else was going to have to figure itself out. I think one of the things that helped us was that we had some very, very loving, hands-on therapists and social workers and nurses that were made available through various programs. And I think those periods of respite where other people were helping us were the things that helped my wife and I survive through that time.
It was through the perseverance and steadfast love of her grandparents that Allie was able to eat again, heal from some of her bodily pain, and find treatments to reduce her regular occurring seizures. And that joyful personality that is Allie Rae still shines through.
We are so thankful for the way life has brought us to New Hampshire and has been awesome for Allie. As she's went from elementary school to middle school, the teachers and the social workers, wheelchair technicians, doctors have just been next level and has treated Allie like she's the only kid that they have to work with.
I am a special education teacher and case manager here at Laconia Middle School, and I run the life skills program that Allie is a part of. I work with mild, moderate, and severe special needs students. I think she brings a tenderness to our program that might not be there otherwise. I hadn't had someone needing the amount of support that Allie needs. Found we had a lot of support with our service providers who helped me figure out how we can incorporate her into as many parts of the school day as possible.
I am Allie's paraeducator, and I am with Allie from the time her bus arrives every day, and I stay with her all day through her day until she goes back to the bus.
Betty Ann is so amazing with her. That's been one of the biggest delights, is just to see the two of them connect in ways that Betty Ann has found to incorporate her in things. She will have Allie be a part of as much of it as possible. So I just love watching.
When I come to school every day, no matter what's going on in the world or how the day looks, it always gets 100 times better because of her.
My name is Jeff Elrick. I'm a physical therapist. I've worked with Allie. This is my third school year working with Allie. Allie has been an amazing addition to this district. She has taught more people more than she knows, more than you guys know. She's taught a lot of people a lot of things about just caring and inclusion that wouldn't necessarily have happened had you guys not moved to this district.
It has been a delight to see Allie and the students interact with Allie. Everyone wants to see if they can make her smile or laugh, and I love watching Allie and Uzziah interact. She is the favorite part of his day. So it's sometimes hard to get him to do his work because all he wants to do is do things with Allie, but we use her sometimes too. Oh, you know what, why don't you show Allie how to do calendar? Or can you do that for Allie? And suddenly he wants to do whatever it is we're doing because he's doing it for Allie.
Allie's joy has carried her family through. Despite everything, everyone's story has taken a turn for the better.
When I was able to let good things into my life and to start taking self-care seriously and taking sobriety seriously, I've really been fortunate enough to have a huge shift in my perspective. There were amazing things in life to live for. Allie is a happy little kid. I've been able to watch her go from being on all these machines and tube fed and coming home and crying nonstop to really having a lot of personality. Everyone just loves being around that kid. Allie brings joy to everybody who interacts with her.
As you grow with your child who's disabled, and you see her getting happier, her love for life is infectious, and it does something to you where it makes you softer. And those emotions kind of kick the anger and all that stuff to the side. You don't think about that anymore. And then you have some people that just live in that hatred and people that live in that negativity for the rest of their lives. And I didn't want to be that person. I don't want to project that on Allie. You know, it's not fair to her if I'm angry and bitter over what happened to her versus, you know, loving and taking care of her. And I realized that I needed to forgive for healing. So when her bio dad was in prison, I started writing him just to let him know what my heart was.
At the very beginning of all this, I would ask God questions like, why would you let this happen to a little kid? I practice making a list of things I'm thankful for, because doing that is what helped me cope. And then I started to ask myself, how would I live if God was in control of this? I started to be okay. I got picked for this. You know, I didn't pick this, I got picked for this. A decade later, I practice gratitude more than I ever have. God picked Susan and me to be Allie's parents, and it is a privilege to be her dad. I enjoy my days and moments that I have with Allie and my wife more than I've ever enjoyed my life before.
If we embrace the situation we find ourselves in and work to take what is broken, fix it, heal it, forgive it, make it beautiful, the world becomes better. Your family heals. Your community becomes a beautiful place to teach and raise your kids. Go all in. What other way is there to live?
Started to find what was hiding under your bed, lying, and tigers played the trumpet as we sang and danced, the sound of the revelation ringing. Clouds clear, those who don't understand run in fear. He calls us by name, writing them on his golden name.